The Trump administration and his stance on crypto are about to rock the cryptocurrency markets this Friday. That's right, the Trump administration's crypto working group is meeting together at a summit at the White House. All the bigwigs in crypto are going to be there, and they're going to be discussing a few things. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what we're likely to see come out of this crypto summit, what headlines we're going to be seeing potentially, along with the market timing. Because as we've seen the last few days, the Trump administration likes to time things very interestingly. Just when you think the markets are tanking, they have a massive rally, and just when you think things are back in the right direction, they go ahead and tank once again. So we're going to take a look at what Bitcoin, XRP, and a couple others are doing right now. And there's a chart that I want to show you towards the end of this video that I absolutely do not want you to miss. It involves what is happening right now with the dump of Bitcoin and its potential rally and how high it could go. Hey everyone, my name is Randy and welcome back to the Late Night Grind. And right now on the channel, we are covering cryptocurrency news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if any or all those topics interest you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, join the Late Night Grind community. If you do a couple things, I'd appreciate it. Smash the thumbs up button, watch this video all the way to the end. Don't forget to hit that bell notification icon. That way YouTube will send you a notification when I release a new video. So if you do that, I greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, let's jump right into it. So we're going to talk about the crypto summit that's happening this Friday in Washington, but I also wanted to give an update on Ripple and the case of the SEC versus Ripple, because it is now likely that we could see an end sooner to this case, as per Jeremy Hogan, than what we thought. Now, if you've been following the past few weeks, the SEC, thanks to the Trump administration, has been dropping literally every case against all the crypto and blockchain companies there are. You saw the one against Kraken, Coinbase, OpenSea, Gemini, Uniswap, you name it, they've all been dropped. Ripple, pretty much one of the only ones left standing. So according to Jeremy Hogan, who of course was one of our favorite legal experts following the Ripple versus SEC case, he actually went on to state that he thinks the end of this case could be happening as early as May, possibly even April. Now, why is that? Well, it looks like some of the other cases were dropped because they weren't as far along in the process as we were looking at the SEC versus Ripple. Specifically, there is an injunction in place that Judge Torres had against Ripple in their sales on secondary markets that seemed to kind of be muddying the waters, or at least holding things up a bit. Now, that has to be resolved because Ripple can't just go ahead and go back to what it was doing before. The SEC has to actually drop it. And before that can happen, there's a few motions that need to be written and considered and dropped by the SEC, which in Jeremy Hogan's view could actually take place by May. Earlier, it was thought that this might take until the end of the year that the Ripple case would be dropped. So if it happens in May, that could be very great timing for XRP, as institutional adoption is sitting there literally on the sidelines waiting for all this to happen. Now, XRP itself is getting massive exposure thanks to the strategic crypto reserve chatter and all the talk that's been going on social media and posts by Donald Trump. So let's get into what they are going to be talking about at this crypto summit. So first, let's start off by who's going to be there. And by the way, these are all kind of rumors and speculation. It's not anything official yet, but these are the people that are quote unquote likely to show up based on the interactions that the Trump administration has had with them previously. You have Brad Garlinghouse, who is the CEO of Ripple. He was at Trump's inauguration. He's potentially being there. He got an invite. Michael Saylor, the CEO of Strategy, who bought hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin. He will want to have a say in some of the things like cryptocurrency regulation, strategic Bitcoin reserve, if it were up to him. Now there's going to be others as well. Jesse Powell, the CEO of Kraken, reportedly could be there. The Winklevoss twins, the creators of the Gemini exchange, could be there. Others rumored to be there. Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase. Sergey Nazarov, the co-founder of Chainlink, and of course David Sachs, who is the crypto czar for the Trump administration. And the working group, the crypto working group, all of these people potentially could be meeting together to discuss things like crypto regulation. Who actually has jurisdiction over the cryptocurrency world? Is it the SEC? Is it the CFTC? Is it somebody else altogether? So a regulatory framework probably going to be one of the biggest things. You're going to see headlines. You're going to see some points that are tweeted out by those that were in attendance or some of their friends possibly. And so those headlines, they're going to be coming out. But in my opinion, it's going to be nothing that's going to be set in stone. These are probably just meetings where things are set in place, but obviously nothing's going to be passed. The next big thing that they're going to be talking about is the strategic cryptocurrency reserve, strategic Bitcoin reserve, whatever you want to call it. A lot of these people, a lot of these CEOs, a lot of these investors, they're going to want to have their say in it because that could mean big money for their cryptocurrency of interest. So here's the thing. And not to throw cold water on this, but as it stands right now, a strategic cryptocurrency reserve, meaning the United States buying these cryptocurrencies and holding them in a reserve, that would require a means of actually buying these cryptocurrencies. So the only way they could do that is if it's a new spending bill, or if it's new spending, it would have to go through Congress to be approved by a bill. And from what I've been reading, that is unlikely to happen. Cynthia Loomis actually has a proposal to buy Bitcoin, and from what I read, is pretty much an unpopular thing and doesn't have a lot of support around Washington. So one that includes other cryptocurrencies, unlikely to sway the needle in any direction. So right now, something passing Congress is probably unlikely unless they go ahead and tuck it in something like a spending omnibus bill, which they've done in the past with things like stimulus checks, all kinds of different government spending. So we're going to have to see if they can tuck it into a bill that actually gets passed through Congress. If not, Donald Trump and this crypto working group, they're going to have to find another way of acquiring these cryptocurrencies. Could it be something like a gift? Would Ripple actually give up their escrow, their huge holdings of 40 billion XRP, and donate some of it to the United States government? Who knows? Who's going to give up their Bitcoin to the United States government? Who knows? Now, as we know, the United States already holds several 100,000 Bitcoin through confiscations from scams and criminals that they have taken possession of. So could they just convert that into their strategic holding? So there's a lot of unanswered questions in terms of what's going to be included and actually how they're going to get it. So let's talk about some of the market timing right now, because Bitcoin's been up, Bitcoin's been down, the markets are up, the markets are down. Like I said in my past couple of videos, the only thing that is for sure is volatility. And man, have we seen the volatility. In my opinion, that's going to continue at least through this weekend, especially with this crypto summit. You're going to see some viral headlines go viral on social media. If you're active on social media, by the way, follow me on X. There's a link in the description below. You can follow me there. I talk about all of these headlines and different things circulating around the cryptosphere on X. You can go ahead and follow me there. So right now, the crypto market, specifically Bitcoin, is at an interesting juncture because a lot of people think you're right on the teetering point of tumbling into a bear market, because there's certain levels that one big sell-off could simply push that price down into levels where it might not recover. But I did want to show you this chart, and what I'm putting on the screen right now is a comparative chart of A, where we're at right now on the right, versus B, back in 2021, where we were at a very similar juncture. As you can see, there was an all-time high, there was a consolidation of price, and there was what some would call a Bart Simpson move, where the price went up, kind of held there for a while, and then the price came straight back down, which is where we're sitting right now. Volatility is huge. Volatility back then was huge. But what happened? Okay, so back in 2021, there was something called a CME gap, which meant as the markets closed, between when the markets closed on a Friday and opened on a Monday, there was a gap as Bitcoin continued up. It created this gap between the Friday close and the Monday open. Typically, traders know that that gap has to close at some point, which means if the price is going up, that creates a gap, it will eventually come back down to fill that gap and then reverse course and go back up. Well, the same thing could happen right now, because back in 2021, that price came down and it did fill the gap, but not all the way. In fact, it missed it by a couple $100 in filling all the way. Right now, we are at the same juncture. We missed filling that CME gap by several $100s. So is the price of Bitcoin going to come down to fill that gap and reverse upwards, or is it just going to continue skyrocketing? Because guys like Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, just told everyone to buy the dip. Now, if you see what this guy does, he's completely old school finance. Just a couple of weeks ago, he was telling everyone that Bitcoin's useless. Literally, it was at the top. It was at its all-time high, and he was telling everyone Bitcoin is useless. Now that it drew back 25%, he says, go ahead and buy the dip. Oh, and by the way, we're telling all of our financial asset managers to tell all their clients to put 1% to 2% of their allocations into Bitcoin. You can't make this stuff up. This is like old school finance back in the 90s, 2000s. This is how you manipulate markets. Now there's more sophisticated ways of doing it nowadays, but nonetheless, this still exists. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think is going to happen with these markets, what you think is going to happen with this crypto summit, if anything, and if there is a path to actually get a strategic cryptocurrency reserve in the United States and who's going to be in it, because that is literally the $100 trillion question. And don't forget, if you do trade on cryptocurrency, you can do it at one of two places, partners of the Late Night Grind, BitFi or BitTunex. Both of those places have deep liquidity, and they both have awesome trading features you can use. If you sign up with BitFi, you'll get access to free trading signals in a Telegram group, and these guys are absolutely on fire, literally posting 50, 70, 80% gains on certain trades on a daily basis. You can also go to BitTunex, and their copy trading is phenomenal. They have some top world-class traders literally making insane gains that all you have to do is link up your account with them, and they will trade your funds for you, essentially. But don't forget to do all of your due diligence and take none of this as financial advice. This is all just fun infotainment. So once again, thank you for watching this video all the way to the end, for smashing that thumbs up button, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next video.
Institution, Lambo dreams fueled by them crypto stacks. Future in our hands, we ain't looking back. XRP to the moon, watch 'em rise and shine.